Welcome back, listeners. You're tuning into Sovereign Peacekeeping Matters discussion podcast. Well, I've been away for almost 2 weeks. Please overlook this as we discuss the reason for my hiatus. Please know that I definitely did not go on vacation. More to the fact of putting together the seasonal release of the Assembly Ledger, which is the purpose of today's episode. So welcome back, everybody. It's good to have you here. Thank you for your comments over the past almost couple of weeks and a growing list of listeners. Really greatly appreciate those downloads and sharing with your audience, those of your friends and family. So today, episode 19, we're going to discuss the Assembly Ledger spring issue for 2026, which you'll see in the thumbnail. So we're going to highlight that for you and talk a little bit more about it, have a little build out on what it is, what its purpose is, the contents therein, and the frequency of the release of each article, each issue. With the various articles or columns, categories and subcategories. It's a really great collective work, and it's a lot that goes in 90 days for the Assembly Ledger. And again, we're going to talk a little bit more about the dynamics of putting this work together for everyone, all of our, not only our listeners, but also our readers. And so I hope you enjoy this brief episode. It does play into our purpose of this podcast and these episodes which is the reviewing of the Federation's fiduciary office articles, all at currently over 5,700. But as you know, if you're a new listener, or if you've listened to a few of our previous episodes, we wanted to still continue to reiterate that is our main purpose for these episodes, and we want to put together our perspective in a digestible, logical 20 to 30, maybe 40-minute episode, so that you can at least share in our perspective as international peacekeepers, and just assisting with that lifting of those the contents from those earlier articles and all other articles that had been written throughout the years regarding any sensitivities to peacekeeping and the needs thereof. Okay, so with that said, in the Assembly Ledger, a lot of what goes into the work therein and the need for the Federation's, impressive level of what a newspaper can put forward. It's always going to be that we attempt to spotlight sheriffs, the relationship alongside jurisdictions between municipal sheriffs, de jure sheriffs, also known as county guardians or county reeves, also emergency responders, and all how these facets of services fit together, and as well as who handles crisis logistics, especially when lives and property are at stake. So that's the header. That's the content of the episode here. So we're going to go into what is the Assembly Ledger. Okay, it's a seasonal quarterly issue release. Seasonal being, as you can see from the thumbnail, spring issue. We try to get the contents together and release the issue released the day of spring, or first day of spring, the first day of summer, first day of autumn, first day of winter, on and on and on. And that's considered we would consider an early release or an on-time release. But we also have about a week, so you can really, for those who do subscribe to the Assembly Ledger, you can expect either the day of or the week of each new seasonal release, period. And in this, we highlight lawful American state assemblies, their militia efforts, Defensive operations is the focal point for sure. This is the main content of all, I think currently 16 pages. So, and that focuses on natural disasters, man-made crisis, or a combination or combined threats, what they might be. Again, the defensive posture, the quick reaction of the combined community resiliency units, the people, the men and women who have a working relationship with their sheriff, and it's all a well-oiled network of volunteers that comes together under the tutelage of the sheriff, or the knowing of the awareness of the sheriff, and essentially respond to any such efforts. All of this and others is what makes up the contents of the Assembly Ledger. 50 state contributor reports as well. Again, this is every season, so it's essentially 90 days where we really work to try to get all the content that's together, the proper editing, the proper credits, photography, all those aspects that goes into what you would expect in a newspaper. So it's quite a bit of lifting and handing off of material and a lot of collaboration. So far, this is our first main issue, but we also have an exclusive issue. So all of which you can find on the PKTF news site, and I'll walk you through where you can find those reports. And again, this is a 50 state contributor reports effort: State of the Union, Union State, and Federation articles. Federation articles are also an integral part of what goes into the Assembly Ledger newspaper. And this provides real work that has shown to be as progress, as well as sincere course corrections towards Federation integration. So the assemblies, as they're growing and they're learning and they're making progress, and some mistakes, as it were, as always, a learning experience, which is to be expected. A lot of these things also goes into the fair and balanced approach of what the Assembly Ledger offers. And in this issue reflects the intense effort to receive, edit, and publish from contributors nationwide. So you're going to see, hopefully, a fairly impressive and interesting finished product of issue 1, or maybe issue 2. We're going to count the exclusive January 15th issue as issue 1. But the two combined, you'll have the next issue, summer issue, fall issue, winter issue, so on and so forth. We're taking the same approach, by the way, similarly to how we're reviewing all of the Federation articles within their seasons. So this is the approach that we're taking. So it's a harmonious and synonymous and familiar approach. From each podcast you are listening to, you'll see this kind of familiar theme or motif. So as far as seasonal work and seasonal reporting, yes, we have our main focus is to have releases of podcasts, 1 or 2 episodes per week, and we'll talk a little bit more about kind of how it goes with trying to put together episodes such as these, and the Assembly Ledger, and the bi-monthly briefs, which is a newsletter, and how that works. And then we want to share with you the dynamics and kind of the complexities of how that is experienced. And so just keep in mind that the production process, it's built again throughout each season. We want to acknowledge that naturally the first year or the first season in every new year is spring, summer, autumn, winter, spring, summer, autumn, winter. So that's where we're going with that. So essentially we're just about into our second week of the new year, as nature would reflect, but I digress. Subscription model. These are for readers, viewers, and listeners. So, and if anybody's in the area of wanting to read and share things that are written, this is where the Assembly Ledger helps, and the bi-monthly brief, all newsletters. This podcast is an audio podcast, so you're not going to get the opportunity to read, but we do have a venue for that as well. This is what our work for all on the websites and our blogs and our newsletters and newspaper now. So we're really getting out there. We're doing quite a bit with not a lot, but what we do have is not a lot is really by volume, and this could go to show those who are interested that it's really quality and not so much quantity. I can definitely attest to that, as of course the more participation and efforts and dedication to quality, then the volume of quality then in that effort will increase. This has been the outline or the wireframing, if you will, of the PKTF and its role since 2023 and 2024 onward. And that's been a steady coordination and support effort towards networking ever since. As I mentioned earlier, the bi-monthly brief is also included with all annual subscriptions. The bi-monthly is a newsletter, so it's not a newspaper. It's not so much involved, but it is integral, and it's supplementary between each season. So bi-monthly, as you can see, that's every 2 months. A seasonal subscription or a seasonal period is every 3 months. So you're going to get right about every month and a half or so, you're going to receive state assembly development information and any other federation updates that we are aware of and that it pertains to peacekeeping about every 6 weeks or so, all together, all year round. So it's a nice kind of flair, kind of variety, if you will. Mid-season previews. This is also part of the bi-monthly brief for the next Ledger issue. It is delivered via email with each new release. And so far, a lot of the content that we've gathered between this issue and the exclusive preseason issue in January 15th of this year has had a lot to do with the PKTF assembly liaisons who are focused on assisting with state border defense, helping to assure each state assembly and the federation that all efforts are exceedingly benevolent, lawful, peaceful, and productive, and approachable and transparent, all of which is what makes up full accountability. And these are American state nationals. They field questions. They focus on state border defense initiatives, the coordination that goes in that's involved with all of that effort. Very involved. So it's no wonder that very impressive progress is made through dedications that can meet those efforts and the standards that go with providing those details of those developments. Now, just to reiterate with regards to the recent production impact of the episodes here on this podcast, as you know, our listeners know, the goal here is 1 to 2 episodes weekly here on Sovereign Peacekeeping Matters. The seasonal reality though depends on how we are in sync with our reportings. So we have burgeoning reporters or journalists. They're getting their land legs on what it is to be truly American free press journalists, freelance. So they're not tied to any corporate newsroom or news house, any other corporate syndication that is part of the legacy media. And so they're learning as they go, and they're gathering information and fair and balanced reporting and all of that great experience on what it is to be a journalist. But with all of that, though, delays should be expected around the weather season transitions. So you'll have approximately 3 months or so as it goes, as it's experienced. A lot of the content, as I mentioned, from these first two issues has come from our current PKTF, Peacekeeping Task Force Assembly Liaisons. Why this matters? As far as the group effort of gathering information, each one of the currently the liaisons, they are part of their own assemblies, and they're focused towards gathering and providing the information, as well as asking and answering questions, all of which helps to provide that transparency to the de facto realm, those adjacent jurisdictions, inferior jurisdictions that are desiring to know more but from a safer distance and observation point, where it is that the assemblies are in their development. But why all this matters, and the combination efforts between these podcasts and the Assembly Ledger and the bi-monthly brief newsletters, we don't want to sacrifice quality between each seasonal production. Seasonal being, again, which we need to reemphasize, it's not, January through March and then April through June. It's again, these are weather seasons that we focus on here on the Assembly Ledger. Here on the this podcast, it's the same, although we're having to go back several years and embrace those seasonal release of the articles from the Federation in those years. So it's the same theme. Just keep that in mind, and hopefully I won't have to continue to, or feel the need to have to continue to reiterate that. But yes, this is why it matters. This is part of the reasons why all this matters. We don't want to rush podcast releases. So I could have, if I had thought it necessary, to put in 1 or 2 articles between the last 2 weeks. This would have been, you would have expected 2 to 4 episodes by now, minus this one. But we don't want to rush any reporting at all, and editing takes time. News gathering takes time, and interviews takes time as well. So, and writing articles that goes into the columns all takes time. So we do not want to rush, but we definitely want to try to meet the standard and meet those deadlines. So where to access previous work, past issues? These will be on the homepage of pktfnews.org. So from the homepage, type in pktfnews.org. I will definitely put this in the description in the bottom of this episode. But you can just scroll halfway down, and you'll find not only the newsletter archives, previous newsletter archives, which are free, but also the bi-monthly briefs, which are also free. Time-tested newsletters from the 2 or 3 that we have of the bi-monthly brief newsletters from 2025. This was showing our project evolution, so you can kind of see, you can glean from whether it's 2 or 4 page newsletters. They're in digital form, obviously, but you can download them, you can share them, you can collect them, do as you will. But when they are current, which we're going to begin in 2026. It's actually next month. We're going to start to draft the bi-monthly brief for the spring season, and you can receive those. They'll be posted for those who haven't yet subscribed to the Assembly Ledger. You can still find and download the current bi-monthly brief newsletter for 2026, for spring 2026. You can find it there. And previous issues, previous seasoned issues of the Assembly Ledger, you will also find them on the homepage. The January 15th release is also there, so you can find that. The new issue for spring 2026 of the Assembly Ledger now has an insert which has, if it doesn't have them all, it has a 99% of all counties. We're going through and triple checking to make sure that all counties are in that insert. And that's another, I want to say 16 pages there as well. 3,142 non-equivalent counties are listed or should be listed. If you do subscribe to the Assembly Ledger for 2026, and you have the insert and your county isn't in there, please do let us know. You can just put it in the comment section. You can email us. You can live chat as well. There's a quick reference code in the tail end of the newsletter where you can not only subscribe, but you can also scan and access our live chat and speak with a product specialist or an editor, and they can help walk you through any questions that you have, any comments that you have about the Assembly Ledger. But in this case, if your county is not in the insert, if your county is not listed, please let us know, because those listings are for county newsrooms, for all Americans who have corrected their status and would like to write about their own county. This is the purpose for that insert. And so for those future county newsrooms, just simply let us know that you have a local newsroom and that you are providing pieces or articles regarding your county. By all means, definitely let us know. We will list your newsroom, and also congratulate you for this effort, diving into the realm of journalism, and American journalism for that matter, and would like to then offer a syndication for your newsroom in the Assembly Ledger, in the directory. Just keep in mind that we only have room for one newsroom per county, but we definitely encourage and are thrilled to know that there is more than one news source per county. However, we don't have space in the Assembly Ledger to list more than just one newsroom per county. So I hope everybody can appreciate that limitation. Also, another interesting new addition or integration into the website, the Memoranda tab as an update now includes all podcast episodes, or at least the most current. Site visitors will find, when they go to the published memoranda section, which is in the header navigation bar, you'll also find the most recent listings of sovereign peacekeeping matters as a catalog. So I think it's episode 17 onward. From the date of this episode, this is what you will find. If everything's lined out right and everything is coded properly there, you should find all subsequent episodes also listed within the memoranda section. You can find the most recent episodes of these podcasts centered in the top center of every page of the PKTF news site. So we try to make it as accessible as reasonably possible without being obnoxious on where we're trying to put our efforts and our work for all of you. And all of you, this, as you know, should include but not limit all law enforcement, emergency responders, all field officers, flag officers, any sort of peacekeeper or quick reaction force supervisors, directors. All of you, you know who you are, and thank you for your growing interest as well in our work and the work of all American states' assemblies. So with the new website integration, what you're essentially getting is the opportunity to have a one-stop access both written and spoken peacekeeping records, all in one area. As far as memorandums go, anything that's date stamped and autographed, whether it's sealed or any other kind of sensitive documentation, something that can be downloaded, printed out, and used as part of your correspondence. This is all kind of where we are with that effort and that integration effort. Now, how to subscribe to the Assembly Ledger, we've also attempted to make that as easy as possible. The location for that opportunity is under the Emergency Dispatch tab. Why is it emergency? Well, our work is centered around providing and developing sturdy emergency networking efforts. So under the Emergency Dispatch tab for the PKTF news site, because it is kind of broad, we wanted to put it in a more familiar location. Where you can find the Emergency Dispatch tab is at the top of every page of the PKTF news site, on the left side in the header navigation, as well as you will also find the link, a direct link in this episode in the description. And then back to Federation articles. So this is where we're going. Again, just want to thank you all in advance for the opportunity. Thank you for your realizing and your how you can maybe relate to as you learn more of what we are kind of under the gun, the time constraints that we have and the limitations and the times that we're trying to keep for releases and all of these deadlines and whatnot. It does take quite a bit of effort and coordination from multiple people. So we do appreciate that you understand why we haven't been here for the past 2 weeks. But next month, again, we will be going back to Federation articles and maintain that consistent return to fiduciary office articles and those deep dives. As you know, the spring issue is complete of the Assembly Ledger, and the schedule now opens up for the rest of our focus on previous seasonal articles from 2014, 2015, so on and so forth, until we finally get to current time. So much gratitude for all of our listeners and our subscribers and those who share our work. Please do. Please do continue to share your support by exploring our growing catalog of episodes. Here is where we thoughtfully examine those wonderful Federation Fiduciary Office articles as they were back then, empathizing with the issues taking place and the struggles and the challenges, attempting to achieve progress and recognition, seeking remedy, all of those wonderful complexities. Thank you for joining us as we attempt to continue to validate those concerns and express our perspectives where peacekeeping elements fit into those concerns at that time. And with that, I think that's about it. We will put a little bit more information in the description. I think this is the first episode where we provided integrated, besides article sharing, under PDF from fiduciary articles. I think this might be the first share for a subscription opportunity for those readers among us, the listening crowd here. Certainly do comment where you like. We did have a couple of emails come in and a couple of phone conversations as well, one or two. Our audio, from time to time, our audio tracks seems a little bit too loud, or periodically too loud, or loud enough that it's noticeable during these episodes. So we will try to turn down that feature, make it a little bit more backgroundish as it needs to be. But we definitely don't want to have you all just listening to me with no background sound. We do enough to cancel the background noise in my studio, but we definitely want to add a little more kind of a softer, approachable kind of a feel besides just me talking. Okay, so thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye now.